So hello everyone, it's your boy Devij. In today's video, we are going to build a complete item pickup system in Unreal Engine. Once you will pick an item, your player state will be changed on based of that item, and you will be also able to drop your item whenever you want. On top of that, the system allow you to pick multiple items and switch between them easily. But there's a twist. You can only hold a limited number of items, and if your slots are full, you will need to drop something before picking a new item. And this entire system is foundation of our upcoming inventory system. Think of it as the first building block of something much bigger. And if you want to support the project or get the full source, you can download it directly from my Patreon. Alright, so let's get begin. So first thing first, let's see what we have inside our content browser. So I have this icons. These are the icons for our item to be stored in the inventory. And second, I have this animation which are from Mixamo. So basically this animation are for our player to change whenever the state of player will be changed due to item. Like if the player is holding a sword, its animation state will be changed to the sword. Like for idle, it will be using the sword idle. For running, it will be using the sword running, something like that. And if you have a better animation, make sure to go with that. I'm using the Mixamo one. And lastly, I have this static meshes, this apple, this lamp, sword, and this potion. These are the items that we are going to add in our inventory ultimately. And apart from that, you will also get the idea how you can add any item to your inventory. Like you can create any item that will be added to your inventory. So now let's get begin. So what I will do very first, I will create a new folder calling inventory. So inside this, what I will do, I will create a new actor blueprint, and that actor blueprint will be our parent item. Now what I mean by parent item, think it's something like that. We have an item and that is our main parent item that has all the code, whatever we want. And now we are creating a parent item from that. I mean, not parent, we are creating a child item from that. And that child item will also have the same code, which is what is inside our parent item. And we can even tweak some changes in our child item. So ultimately it will be same as our parent item, but some different. So in that way we can make different items. So what I will do, I will right click here and under blueprint class, I will create actor. I will name it BP parent item. And now we need a next thing that will be nothing but a enumeration. So again, right click under blueprints, create enumeration, name it E player state. And this enumeration will contain all the enums value that our player will have. Now how we will know what are the enums value that our player is going to have? So we want our player to hold the sword, we want our player to hold fruits, we want our player to hold potions, we want it to hold torch, and there will be one idle pose, or what we say, the unarmed pose. So we need maximum 5 enum states for that. So we will create them. First one will be our unarmed, second one will be our sword, third will be our fruit, fourth will be for our potions, and last one will be for our torch or lamp, whatever you say. Now we are all set, done with our enums. So I will simply close it, and lastly we will create a new struct. So what this struct will be, this struct will store all the details about our item, like what is its name, what class does it belongs to, and all other stuffs. So simply again right click under blueprint, select struct, and name it as item details. So the very first thing will be our name, and for its variable type I will make it name. The second one will be our class, and for its type I will select our parent item, which is BP parent item, and instead of object reference we will take a class reference. Now the next thing that we need is our actual mesh. So I will name it as object, and for its type you can select the static mesh or skeletal mesh based on type of your mesh, and all my item meshes are static mesh, so I will select a static mesh and it will be a object reference. Now we need our enum state, one that we just created, so name it E state, and this will be the same enum state that we created, which is E player state. And we also want our item to have a particular image so that we can visualize it in our inventory through UI. So for that I have this icons here which we will be using. So here I will simply search for texture 2D, and again it will be object reference, and last we need a socket name. So this socket name will be the place where our this item will be attached with our player. So I will name it as bone name, and this will be nothing but a name. Yeah, so I think that much information is enough for our item for now. Maybe in our upcoming videos, or if we want to add something more, then we can obviously add it here anytime. Now I think we are all done with our struct. So close it. Now open your parent item, and inside this, first thing first that we will do, we will make a new variable. We will name it as item details, and its type will be our struct one that we just created. Now the next thing that we want to add in it will be our static mesh, and again if you are using a skeletal mesh, then make sure to add a skeletal mesh. So I will add a static mesh just for a test. Let me add a lamp here. So this is a lamp that we have, and in this static mesh I will add a box of collision or sphere collision, whatever collision suits for you, so that our player can interact with it. So I will search for box of collision, I mean sphere of collision, yeah, something like that. And now I will place this item in our world to see how it's looking. So there you can see this is how it's looking. Now we want to add some physics in it. So I will select it and I will type for physics and I will enable simulate physics, and under its collision, let me search for collision. I will make it custom and I will only block the pawn, and I think now it will work absolutely fine. So let's just move it up and give it a simulate. Yeah, so there you can see it's working absolutely fine. Now the next thing that we have to do is to come back to your parent item again, and here in our event graph delete everything, and by right clicking on this sphere add a event on component begin overlap. So what will happen whenever any object or any player, any pawn will be overlapped with it, what we will do, we will firstly promote it as a variable, we will promote other actor as a variable, and then from here we will check if this other actor, make sure to connect it here too, we will check other actor is equal to our player controller or not. So I will search for player controller node here, and if it's true, like if it's equal, then we will do our other stuffs. So we'll check if the overlapping actor or overlapping other actor is our player controller or not. If it is, then what we will do, we will get a player controller here. One mistake, this will be not a controller, it will be player actor. We need our player actor, not controller. And from here what we will do, we will enable the inputs. I will search for enable inputs and connect it with our true. Now we have to do the same, but this time for our end overlap. So again add a event, this time on component end overlap, and I will copy this complete thing here, and instead of just enabling the inputs, what we will do, we will disable the input this time. So once player will be not overlapping with it, we will disable the inputs. Simple. Now the next thing that we have to do is to create new blueprint interface. So simply right click again under blueprint, create blueprint interface, name it BPI inventory, and just double click and open it. And inside here we will already find a pre-created function, so rename it as add to inventory, and we will add an input pin here, and this input will be nothing but our item details, the struct that we just created. So I will name it as item details, and I will make its type as our struct. And we also need an output to check whether it's a success or not. So I will create an output of boolean type and I will name it as success, something like that. Now what we will do next, I will open my player's blueprint. So simply open a player's blueprint. This is all the code that we created for our RPG stuffs. So before adding that, what I will do, I will create a comment here. Ultimately I'm creating a margin between this and that code so that it will be better for us to manage the code. And now the thing that I will do, under my class settings, I will add the interface that we just created, which is BPI inventory. And now you will find under our interface we have this new function. This is the function which we just created inside our BPI inventory. So now we need to work on it. So for that, what I will do, I will simply remove it and I will bring this return node here so that we can do our other stuffs. And here, first thing first that we will do is to create a new variable. I will name it as count. The variable type of this guy will be integer. This is for indexing our items, on which slot which item is going. So I will simply get it and I will make its value as 0 in the very beginning. And now the next thing that we will do, before doing anything, let me create one more variable and I will name it as inventory. And the variable type for this item will be our struct, because our struct is the only thing that contains each and every detail about our item. So we will search for our struct, which is s item details, and we will make it as an array. And after compiling, make sure to add the array element. This array element will define or is to set our slots, like how many slots you want to be in your inventory. So for this tutorial I will have it something like 5, just because we have 5 different states, but it's completely on you how you want to modify it. And now after that, what I will do, I will simply get my inventory from here, and from this guy I will search for each loop with a break, and the array will be nothing but our inventory. And the next thing that we will do, from this array element we will break our this item, and from its class we will search for equal node, and then from its return value we will get a branch, and we will check if our class is empty. That what we are going to do, we will set a array element. So from this true we will set a array element, and the target array will be our inventory itself. So I will copy it and I will paste it here, and the index for our this guy will be our array index. So let me just get a reroute node here, and I will get it here as well, and I will connect it with my index to keep it bit more clean. And the items, like the item that we have, it will be nothing but our s item details. So again get a reroute node here and connect it with our items. Let me get another reroute node to keep our code clean. And like what will happen, so what this thing is doing, let's see. whenever we will add anything to our inventory, it will count, like it will set our count value to 0, and it will check if our class value is equal to none. If none, then it will add the item, whatever the item we are getting from there. We will get this item from our parent item. You will get the idea how we are getting this item from our parent item. So like whenever this will be done, it will add the item. But what if this will be false? So we will search for increment, not increment float, it will be increment integer. Yeah, and I will set my count value, I will set it to be incremented, so every time it will be increased by 1. Once this all will be done, we will put this loop to a break, something like this. And now we have to check if our 5 slots are completed or if our 5 slots are filled or not. If it is, then we have to pass through a message of success. So for that, after completing, we will get a branch and we will get our count value here, and we will search for equal to node, and we will search if it's equal to 5, then only we want to return our success message. So if true, the success will be false, but if false, the success will be true. So simply copy our return value and paste it here and connect with the false, and make sure to turn on the success. And yeah, we are all set done. We need to add something more here, which we will get through after a while. Now the next thing that we have to do is to come back to our this guy, and here make sure to make the proper enhanced input action. But just for this quick tutorial, I will be using the keys directly. So I will use E key. So what will happen, every time I will press my E key, we will get our add to inventory function, one that is inside our third person character. So we'll search for add to inventory, and the target will be our other actor. And for S item details, it will be nothing but our struct. And lastly, what we will do from the success, we will get a branch and we will check if it is true. That means we want to destroy our actor. So I hope you are understanding what is this for. So whenever we will press E, the item will be added to our inventory, and what item it is, we will check by this other actor, and what are its detail, we will check by this. And after that, we'll check whether it's a success or not. If it's a success, that means we want to destroy that item which is inside the ground, or we will add that item into our player's hand. I hope this thing is clear to you all. And now the next thing that we have to do is to come back to a third person character. Here we will create another function. This is to get the inventory, so I will name it get inventory. So inside here, first thing that we will do, we will add a new input that will be our index. So I will name it as index, and for its type, it will be again integer. Now what we will do next, from here we will get a for each loop. So left click and press F to get a for each loop, and for this array, it will be our integer. Now we will check is our array index of our this inventory is equal to our this index one that we just created. So from here, simply get a equal to node and connect it with our index. Now from our loop body, get a branch and connect this as our condition. And once this will be true, we will set our inventory item. Now how we are going to set our inventory item? So for that, what I will do, firstly come to our viewport, and here by selecting our mesh, simply add a new static mesh or a skeletal mesh based on your item type. And as I already told you, I have a static mesh, so I will add a static mesh. I will name it as inventory item. Now back to our function, what I will do, I will simply drag it, and from here I will search for set the static mesh. Now we need a mesh that we will be setting inside our inventory. So for this, we will simply break our array element. So let me get a reroute node here. And why I'm getting reroute node everywhere? Just to keep our code clean. Otherwise it will be confusing for you all to understand what I'm doing here. So from our this array element, I will break it. So now we will have all the data which is inside our struct. So I will simply assign our class, not class, sorry, my mistake. So I will simply assign our object as our new mesh. And we will do one more thing. From this E state, I will promote it as a variable and I will set it here. Now once this will be done, like our mesh is added, now we want our that mesh or our item to be attached on the player's hand or whatever the location is. So what we will do, from here we will search for attach component to component. For our target, it will be nothing but our inventory item, because we want to connect our inventory item with our parent, which is our mesh. So in our parent, it will be our mesh. And for the socket name, remember the socket name that we created inside our struct, we will add the same socket name here. So again, I will get a reroute node and I will connect it here, and for this location you can keep it like this only. Lastly, we will get a return node from here so that we can take two stuffs from this function. So first will be our index. So I will simply get this index from here and I will bring it here and I will connect it with our this return value, and I will do the same for our array element. And for this, I will name it as current item, current index, and the second one will be our current item. So now this part is done, and remember I told you that we have to do something inside our added inventory, which we will do afterwards. And now it's time for that. I will break our this node one that we attached from our, and I will just get my inventory function here. I will connect it with it, and for our index, I mean actually wait, we have to do some more stuffs here, then we'll come back to it. So let me close the other functions that we don't need here. Coming back to our event graph, we will get the keys for our slot like 1 2 3 4 5 or whatever key you want to use. So I will get one key, and from this key we will get our this get inventory function, and from here I will simply press this and I will promote it as a variable, and I will do the same for our this guy too. So we'll promote it as a variable as well. Now we need to do the same for our all other 5 slots which we created. If you remember, there you can see we have 5 slots. Inside my inventory we have this 5 array elements, so we have to add 5 slots for that. So I will do simple copy and paste, so 5 like this, and I will change the keys from 1 to 2, from again to 3, and this one will be our 4, and the last one will be our 5. And don't forget to just add the integers like this index number. First will be our 0, second one will be our 1, third will be our 2, the fourth will be our 3, and the last fifth will be our 4th. And yeah, we are all set, done with our main inventory stuff. Now we will get back to our this guy, our this add inventory, and for our index it will be our current index, one that we promoted in our in our event graph. We will add it as our index, and for our current index again simply just set it here and set this guy here as well. And now simply bring back our this node which is break, and I will connect it in the end. And yeah, now we are done with our this inventory stuff. Like pickup part is done. Now we need to drop the items from our inventory. So for that, what we will do, we will create a new function. I will name it drop from inventory, and here as well we will add an input. It will be nothing but our item details, which is our struct. So name it as item, and here I will search for s underscore item details, and we will break this struct item, and from here we will search for spawn actor from class, and the class that we want to spawn will be nothing but our item class. And now we need a world transformation. So remember this npc drop arrow that we are using for a transformation, we can use the same arrow. But if you don't have the same arrow, or if you haven't followed that video, what you can do, you can just simply add a new arrow or a scene component in your this guy. You can add a new scene component or a new arrow here and you can use it, but I will be using the same npc drop. So instead of naming it as npc drop, now I can rename it as item drop, and I will come back to my drop function, and from here I will get my this arrow, and I will search for get world transformation. I will connect it with my transformation. Now the next thing that we want to do, clear our slot. So for that, what we will do, we will search for set array element, and the target array will be our inventory, and the index will be our current index. And now we want to also remove the static mesh from our hand. So again we will get our this inventory item, and from here we will search for set static mesh, and this time it will remain empty because we are not going to add anything, we just want to remove it. And lastly, the thing that we want to do is to set our current item as none and set our enum state as unarmed, because once everything will be empty, like once the player will not have anything in its slot, it means it's in the unarmed position. So now let's give it a try. So before trying, we need a item here. So right now this is the parent item, so we don't need it. So what I will do, wait, actually I forgot one thing. We got this item created, like we got our this function created, but we are not calling it anywhere. So back to our event graph, here I will get a x key, or simply copy this guy, paste it here, get x, and from here we will get our this newly created function, which is drop from inventory, and the item which we are dropping will be nothing but our current item. And now the next thing that we will do, come back to our inventory. Now right click this guy and create a child blueprint of this. So let's keep the name of this guy as our lamp. So it is our BP lamp. So I will open it, and here we already have our static mesh added, but if you want to change it, simply select the lamp and you can change the mesh whatever the item you want. And then under this s item details, you can write the name of this guy. Remember the struct that we created for our details, so now we are adding those detail here. So first will be the name, so I will name it as lamp. Now the class will be nothing but our BP lamp, and the object will be our lamp, and now the e state will be our torch. And the icon for this, we have one inside of a content browser. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, there is it. Now we can assign it, and right now we are not using this icon. Once we will work on our wizard or visualizing part, then we will use both of them. And lastly, we need a bone name. So right now we don't have any bone name, so I will keep it as a none, but later on we will add it. So now it's time to test. So I will delete this guy and I will drag and drop my this, and I will play. So moment of truth, if I will come closer and I will press E, nothing is happening. So why nothing is happening? Let me see. Okay, so I found the reason why it's not working, because by mistake I connected the player controller with the target, which will be inside of a player controller. And now we are all set done. And one more thing, by selecting your this sphere, make sure to set hidden in a game as false just for debug. And now if I will play the game, like now if I will test again, I will press E. There you can see this guy is stuck in my legs. Why? Because though we don't have any proper socket for our this lamp, so we will work for that very soon. But before that, let's work on our other stuffs. And one more thing, we also forget to test whether we are able to drop it or not. So now we can equip it, and if I will press my X button, there you can see we can easily drop it. So that's how it's working. And before going to other thing, let me create the item for all type, like item for each and everything. So I will create a new folder. I will name it item. I will add my this lamp item here, and now again I will right click on my parent item and I will create a child blueprint from it, and I will name it. And here you have to do the same thing. First thing, let me select this mesh here, and I will change it with our apple. And by selecting our this blueprint under S item details, name it as apple. Now for the class it will be BP fruit, and for the object it will be our apple, and the E state will be fruit or unarmed, because in both state I will keep everything same, so you can keep it as unarmed if you want. And for the icon, I have icon for fruit, I think. And lastly, for the bone name, we will add it in the very end. And make sure to do the same for all types of your item. I will fast forward this step. Okay, so now we have all our stuffs ready, all our items are ready, so I will simply drag and drop it inside of a map. First is our this apple, and this is our sword, and lastly this is our potion bottle. So let's give it a test. So if I will just simply come here, I will press X, not X, E. You can see this guy is equipped, and if I will press E here, I can we have that guy equipped, and same goes for our sword, and same goes for our lantern. But there you can see it's not visible here. So if I will press 2, you can see the second slot, which on the second we just equipped our this, what to say, the potion bottle. So we have that here, and on our third slot we have our sword, and on our fourth slot we have our this lantern here. On fifth we have nothing because we are unarmed, and on first again you can see we can switch between them, and if we want then we can also throw it away like this. So now in our first we have nothing, but in our second we have this potion bottle and we can throw it away. So now in our first and second there is nothing. So hope you're getting it, like how this thing is working. Now we have to work on our different enum states based on of our this guy. So let's go for it. So the first thing first that I will do here, I will create a blend spaces. So let me open this page, and here make sure to organize your blend space and animation. Just for the tutorial I'm adding it here only. So what I will do here, under animation, legacy, blend space 1D, and just because I have single directional animation, so I'm using blend space 1D, but if you have multiple directional animation then feel free to use blend space. And here I will select SK Mannequin, name it whatever you want. So firstly I will make it for a sword, so I will name it blend space sword. Double click and open it, and turn on this use grid, and under horizontal axis let the name of this guy as a speed, and the maximum speed will be the maximum speed of our default character, which is 500. So I will keep it as 500, and minimum will be 0 because we want to start it from idle to running. Now it's time to get our animations. And one more thing, in my this walking animation you can see we don't have chained in place animation. So for that what I will do, I will search for root motion, I will enable the root motion, and I will also enable force root lock, so it will perform better. So open this guy again, here search for sword, and there you can see we have all the animations. So first one will be our idle. This is the idle animation for our sword, and again I got this whole animation from Mixamo, that's why they are looking like this. But if you have proper one, feel free to use them, and I will must suggest to use them. And second we have this, like first one is for this, second is for this. Now we have to use the, oh, this was the running one will be in the end. In the between we will have the walking animation. So if you will press Control and hover on this graph, you can see how the transition works. This is how our sword transition will actually work. Now we'll cut it. Now I will go for another blend space, or let's do one thing. Let me simply duplicate this guy just to ease my work, and I will name it blend space for torch. We can simply delete this all stuffs, and I will search for torch here, and there you can see we have this idle torch, then we have this walking torch, and lastly we have this running torch animation. And there you can see this is the transition we have. This is for the idle, this is for the walking, and this is for the running. Pretty awesome, right? Now open your animation blueprint, and if you're following me from, like, if you're following this complete RPG series, then you are familiar with this all stuff, so hope so you're getting it. So simply open your this main state. This is the main locomotion, and if you are not, then let me give you a quick explanation about this. So we have this state. This is our basic core logic. We are going from idle to running and climbing and about to idle. Like, this is the stopping animation we are using, and then we are using that same thing here as a locomotion, main locomotion, and using this locomotion we are also adding the swimming and crouching function. So from there only we will add our sword and torch animations. So from here what I will do, not like this, I will drag a node and I will create a new state. I will name it sword, and I will create one more state machine and I will name it torch. And inside the sword we need the blend space of our sword. So let me search for sword. So there you can see we have the sword blend space, one that we just created, and for its value we will attach our speed. This is the default speed that we are using for our player. You can see these warnings. These warnings are for the missing logic between this when the transition will happen. This logic is missing for now, so we will fix it very soon. And for the torch, again get our blend space for torch, and again for the speed simply connect the speed variable here. Now this thing is done. Now we need to add this logic between them. So for that what I will do, simply come to our event graph here, again copy our this as BP third person character. And if you don't know how we get this, so we are ultimately casting it here so that we can get a reference here, and we will use it to get whatever the stuff inside our blueprint is. So from here we will search for the enum state. Let me show which enum state I'm talking about. This is the enum state that we created, remember, by promoting our this guy. So we'll call this, so search for e state. So there you can see I got this e state, and from it I will promote it to a variable like this, and I will connect it. So now we can work on this. If you want to go from locomotion to sword, what we will do, we will check if the e state is equal. So we'll get this equal enum equal to sword, then only we can do the transition. And we need a back transition from this. Whenever from sword we want to go back to our this, then we will check, not this guy, let me copy this from here. Then we will check if it is unarmed like this. If it's unarmed, then only it can go there. And same for our torch. If it's torch, then only we can go inside this. We are unarmed, then we will go to our locomotion again. So back and paste our unarmed and connect it like this. Now we are all set done. Now we have to switch between the sword and torch. So from sword I will connect this to a torch. Again I will do the same thing. When our enum state will be for the torch, we will go to the torch, but when we are for the sword, we will go for the sword like this. And just imagine you have thousands of your enum state, like you have thousands of different enum state, like you are using guns, weapons, bow, arrows, water bucket, something like that, Minecraft stuffs. Then how you are going to like switch that much enums? So for that what you can do, here we are transitioning to just keep the animation too much smooth, but there you will be switching directly to the enums. Like if the enum is equal to this, then we will directly switch to the particular blend space, something like that. Hope you're getting my words. Now it's final time to test, and before testing I will check again like if everything is on our favor or not. Like I will select the sword, I'll browse to the asset and I will check if the details are right. Yeah, see, it is unarmed, so I will make it sword. This is our sword, so I will make it sword. Now let's check for our this lamp. Yeah, it is for lamp. So yeah, let's give it a test. So now if I will go here, I will press E. There you can see now my animations are changed and I have this animation, but my running animation is not working fine. I will see why it's not working. Let me just drop it and I will test it with our sword. So there you can see this is how the sword animations are working and it's looking absolutely fine. Let's see what's wrong with our blend space. This is our torch and this is how it's running. Okay, there is no animation for the last one, that's why it's not working. Let me search for the animation. Yeah, now we have this, so let's give it a try again. So now I'll pick it up and there you can see she's also running, like it's looking good. Yeah, so it's working absolutely fine. Now only thing that is left for this video is to add the sockets. So I will quickly add the socket location. So firstly what I will do, we will simply go to our preview assets and let me search for sword, and here is our sword idle. I will pause it and I will check which hand we are using for our sword. So let's keep it in our right hand, and I will right click and I will add a socket and let's name it sword. And here simply right click and add a preview asset, and this asset will be our moon sword. And now resize it as per your need. And once this will be done, what we have to do, simply come to our sword, copy the name and remove all the attached assets. And now come to your sword, browse to this assets, and under socket name or this bone name, simply place the name of that socket, one that we just created, and let's see how it's performing. So now if you'll come closer, I will press E. There you can see the sword is in my hand. I can run. I am in the idle position. I can walk. I can run with it. Yeah, it's looking pretty awesome. So do the same for our all stuffs. Okay, so by this I'm concluding this video. If you have any query related to this, feel free to ask me in the comment section. And apart from that, you can join our Discord server for more updates, and you can download this complete project from my Patreon. And don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Bye bye.